This lesson is solving absolute value equation. Here I have an example. This absolute value equation is already by itself because there's nothing here and there's nothing in the front. Once it is by itself, again, by itself, that means there's nothing here, nothing in the front, and there's nothing in the bottom. Okay, so split them up into two sides. The left will be negative, the right will be positive. Okay, so the left will be -8, the right will be +8. And once you split them up, you will solve for that letter. In this example, this is already solved, this is already solved, so this is already done. Okay, next example, same thing. Make sure the absolute value, the whole absolute value, is by itself. That means there's nothing here and there's nothing in the front. Okay, so split that up in the left side and in the right, on the right side. So on the left and on the right. So everything stays 6 minus 26. 6 minus 2x, except the 24 will become minus. Okay, so one more time. On the left side, everything in this absolute value stay 6 minus 26. 6 minus 20x, and then the -24. On the right side, same thing. Everything stays the same, 6 minus 2x, but the 24 stays positive. Okay, so rewrite whatever's inside here on the left, also on the right, but the 24 has to be minus on the left. On the right, 24 is positive. Okay, and then just solve. So bring the 6 over, so subtract 6 over, gives me -30. Divide by -2 gives me +15. Same thing on the right side, subtract 6 over, gives me 18. Divide by -2 gives me -9. Okay, so this is another example where you have to solve. Over here, we don't need to solve because it's already done. Here we have to solve because we still have something inside the equation. Okay, next example, same thing. Make sure that there's nothing here and there's also nothing here as well too. However, in this case, there's something in the bottom, so we have to bring the -8 over. One more time. Absolute value, make sure the whole absolute value is by itself. That means nothing in here, nothing right here, and nothing here as well too. However, there's something in the bottom, so we got to bring the 8 over. So bringing the 8 over, so that's multiply, so that gives me 24. Okay, again, on the left and on the right. Nothing here and nothing here. One more time. Nothing in the back of this absolute value and nothing in front of this absolute value. Then you can split them up on the left and on the right side. Okay, so rewrite this whole thing right here, -b minus 10 on the left and also on the right. Okay, except the 24 on the left will be minus and the 24 on the right is positive. Okay, so one more time. Be very, very careful that there's nothing here and nothing here. However, I have something in the bottom, so bring the 8 over. And I multiply, so that gives me 24. Okay, rewrite -4b minus 10 on the left and also on the right. As you can see, on the left and on the right are the same thing. The only difference is the 24. On the left, it has to be negative, and on the right, stays positive. Okay, so next, all we have to do is just do the multi-step equations and solve. So bring the 10 over. This is +10. This is -10, so I bring it over. So +10. So 24, take away 10, gives me -24 plus 10 gives me -14. Divide by 4, divide by -4, so that gives me +14 over 4. Make sure you reduce, which is 7 over 2. Same thing over here. This is negative 10. So if I bring it to the other side, I add 10. So 24 plus 10 gives me 34. Divide by negative 4, which is 34 over negative 4. Reduce, so becomes negative 17 over 2. Okay, so again, be very careful before you can split up left and right, that there's nothing in the back of this absolute value and there's nothing in front of this absolute value. Also, nothing should be in the bottom of the absolute value as well. Okay, just like this example, there's something in the bottom of this absolute value, so I have to bring it over and multiply it, which gives me 24. Okay, so 3 example. This one is already done because there's nothing to add or subtract. This one, same thing, there's nothing in the back of this absolute value and there's nothing in front of this absolute value, so we can split them up left and right, and then after that solve. This example, I have something in the bottom, so I have to bring 8 over, so that I multiply, so that gives me 24. And then after that, split it up in left and split up on the right side, and then the rest is just solve. Okay, so that's the first 3 example. Next example, this is what I talked about earlier. So again, there's nothing here, but there is something in the front. However, you also have an extra number in the front as well too. So subtract the 3 over first. So take this 3, this is positive, subtract the 3 over first, and that gives me positive 60. This time I do have something in the front, so therefore I have to divide. If I have something in the front, I have to divide. So divide the 5 over, so that gives me 12. Okay, so one more time, be very careful. I have nothing in the back, so I'm okay right here. There's nothing in the back here, so I'm okay. However, I do have something extra in the front of this equation, which is 3. So subtract 3 over. Why subtract 3 over? This is positive 3. So subtract 3 over, I get positive 60. Next, I have 5 here. This 5 in front must be divided. You have to divide. If you have something in the front of the absolute value, or let's say it this way, if I have a number that is in front and next to this absolute value, you have to divide. Okay, so one more time, if it's right here of the absolute value, you have to divide. So 60 divided by 5 gives me 12. Now if you look very carefully again, this right here, there's nothing here, and there's nothing here, and there's nothing in the bottom. Okay, so one more time, there's no number in the back of this absolute value, there's nothing in the front of this absolute value, and there's nothing underneath of this absolute value. Then we can split it up left and also right. Okay, so rewrite 8 minus 2x on the left, also on the right. However, the 12 on the left is negative, the 12 on the positive is, the 12 on the right side is positive. So left is negative 12, positive. Left side is negative 12, right side positive 12. Okay, one more time. Left is negative 12, right is positive 12. Okay, and then after that, we just solve. So this is positive 8. Subtract 8 both sides, gives me negative 20. So negative 12, negative 8, negative 20. Divide by negative 2. So that gives me positive 10. Okay, same thing over here. Subtract the 8 over, gives me positive 4. Divide by 2, gives me negative 2. Okay, so one more time. Be very careful. You can only do left and right when there's nothing right here, there's nothing right here, and there's nothing in the bottom. Okay, left side negative 12, right side positive 12. Okay, so that's the second example. Okay, and there's one more example. Here's the third example. What happened when I have 2 absolute value on left and right? So all you have to do is just split them up. Just automatically split them up, left side and also right side. Okay, so when I have two absolute value, one on left, one on right, just split them up. So 3x minus 4 stay as is. This right here, 2x plus 3, make sure you put it in parentheses and the negative is in the front. Why negative? Because the left side is negative. On the right side, leave everything the same. 3x minus 4 equal 2x plus 3. Okay, so on the left side, just solve. Here I have parentheses, so multiply negative 2x and then negative 3. So multiply that negative out. Bring the negative 2 over, so become positive 2x. So that becomes 3x plus 2 gives me 5x. And then minus 4, bring down the negative 3. Okay, next, add 4 to both sides, gives me positive 1. And then divide by 5 gives me 1/5. Okay, so one more time. Distribute the negative, so it gives me negative 2x, negative 3. Bring the 2x over, so by add, that gives me 5x. 3 plus 2 gives me 5. Bring the negative 4 down, bring the negative 3 down. Next, bring the 4 over by adding, so that gives me negative 3 plus 4 gives me positive 1. And then divide 5 over gives me 1/5. Okay, so now you finish on the left. Now do the same thing on the right side. So there's no parentheses right here, so we don't have to worry about it. So just bring the 2 over. This is plus 2, so bring it over, it becomes minus 2 over. So 3 subtract 2 gives me 1x. Bring the negative 4 down, bring the positive 3 down. Now add 4 to both sides, gives me 7. So 3 plus 4 gives me 7. Okay, so this example, what happened when I have two absolute value on both sides. Okay, so be very careful. Again, on the left, there's always a minus, there's always a negative, and on the right side, it stays positive. Okay, so these are the examples for solving absolute value equations.